Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the
Recording in progress.
Marin Local Agency Formation Commission. It's June 11, 2026. It's 6:30. We are at the Marin Wildfire Prevention Authority Meeting Room, Suite 335, 1600 Los Gamos Drive, San Rafael. And with that, I'd ask for a roll call by our clerk, please.
Chair Kohler,
I'm here.
Vice Chair Rodoni,
Present.
Commissioner Caius, Commissioner Lucan,
Here.
Commissioner Murray,
Here.
Commissioner Bordeaux,
Here.
Commissioner Chu,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Hilliard, Alternate Commissioner Farrak, Alternate Commissioner Moulton Peters, and Alternate Commissioner Smith.
Here.
We have met quorum.
So. God, I'm sorry. Violating my own rules. Would anybody like to remove anything from the agenda or reorganize? Seeing none, I'd like to have a motion to approve the agenda. Okay, we need it on the tape, please. Commissioner.
Second.
Okay, so that was Commissioner Berto and second by Commissioner Caius. Can I just do an all in favor?
Aye.
Everyone just put your mics on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, that passes unanimously. All right, this is the opportunity for public open time. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the commission on any matter not on the agenda. All statements that require a response will be referred to staff for reply in writing or will be placed on the commission's agenda for consideration at a later meeting. Since there's no one in the room, is there anyone on Zoom?
There's no one on Zoom.
Okay, closing public open time. Moving on to the consent calendar items. All items calendared as consent are considered ministerial or non-substantive and subject to a single motion. Single motion approval. The chair designee will also consider requests from the commission to pull an item for discussion. Would anybody like? Okay, Commissioner Murray?
Just a quick one on item 4.
Okay, so let's see if we can do the rest of the consent calendar.
If Commissioner Murray just has a question, he can ask it. We can do consent together. If you want to change something on legislation, then that would be pulling it. So if you just have a quick question, just ask the question and we can keep consent together.
Yeah, just a quick question. So this one, SB 1312, relates to the state agency handling cemeteries. And we've had some issue with Mount Tam Cemetery and thought it may come to LAFCo. So just for good of the order, maybe Jaren, you could explain SB 1312 and where this is all headed.
Yeah, so just a refresher for everybody, we'll remember that last year it was SB 777. That kind of got everybody a little concerned about how they were going to handle these failed cemeteries around the state. Ended up, end all be all, just putting together a working group. So essentially SB 1312 is now putting together a defined working group for who is going to be a part of this committee moving forward. So it's just defining who is going to serve on this oversight committee.
That's the Cemetery and Funeral Bureau with the state. And then is your understanding there'll be local representatives on that for Mount Tam?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And then I just want to mention, we talked about AB 259. It's not supposed to be on the list. It was an old bill that you thought was going to,
So no, it was held over from last year. It missed its committee dates this year. So it's no longer being watched.
right. So if we approve this, we're not watching that bill anymore.
Correct.
Okay. So with that, I'll see if there's anybody on Zoom. Thank you.
No one on Zoom.
Okay, I would entertain a motion with that amendment of removing AB 259 from the list of number 4.
I'll move the consent.
Okay, and that would be Commissioner Murray Would somebody like to second?
I'll second.
Okay, so that was Commissioner Caius. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Seeing none. Okay, we're rolling now. Okay, let's move on to a public hearing. And that is, let me just pull that up if you'll. Why don't I see it? Oh, here it is, right in front of me. Okay, so this is the approval of the Novato Area Municipal Service Review and Sphere of Influence updates. And Jaron, would you like to take this away?
Yes, please. Yeah, so this evening we are bringing before the commission the final draft of the Novato Area Municipal Service Review and Sphere of Influence update. Public comment for the public draft closed on May 15th, and we received comments from 2 of the agencies involved as well as 1 commissioner, and you can find that information as well as staff's responses and edits in the tracking matrix included in your packet. This final draft being presented is a product of a significant number of hours of work and collaboration between us and staff from all the agencies involved. I just want to express my appreciation for their time and effort throughout this process. Only one item will be added to Marin LAFCo's work plan from this study, and that's just to follow up with Bell Marin Keys Community Services District to ensure that all of the mentioned items that need to be added to their website are taken care of when their new site launches. Additionally, as was stated in the MSR, we are recommending the commission amend both the Novato Sanitary District and City of Novato spheres of influence as is stated in those agencies' resolutions. Staff's recommendation is to approve the final draft along with resolutions 26-02 through 26-06 and the work plan as presented. So with that, I will turn it back to the commission for deliberation and any discussion you might have.
I just want to mention a couple of things. I've provided more comments than are listed in the matrix. And also, there were a couple more comments I added recently, and I understand that you'll be addressing those in the final. The other thing is in the work plan that's actually in the MSR, it's the whole LAFCO work plan, and the intention is to change that to just be the work plan for this MSR. So that'll be a change.
Absolutely.
All right, so questions of staff? By the way, I want to open the public hearing. Apologize, Mala, I should have done that earlier. So no questions of staff. Let's go on, see if there's anyone on Zoom.
Still no one on Zoom.
You never know, it could
I know.
change. All right, so bringing it back, if there's further well, were no questions. If somebody would like to make a motion,
I'm happy to move the item.
okay.
Second.
So that was Commissioner Lucan, seconded by Commissioner Rodoni. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And Mala, I want to just ask, is that satisfactory to do the motion that way rather than stating everything out?
Yes, I understood that to be staff's recommendation, which was all of the resolutions and the work plan.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, everyone. Okay, now we're moving on to item 6, which is receive report on AB 2561, discussion on status of employee vacancies, recruitment and retention efforts. And it's also, want to open the public hearing. Thank you. And I'm not sure who is taking this one on.
That would be me. Yeah, so AB 2561 requires us every year before we approve our budget to have a discussion about the status of employee vacancies and how we retain our employees. I'm happy to say we are fully staffed, fully employed. Our employees seem to be wanting to stick around. So I don't really have anything to report other than we are fully staffed at this point. Hopefully that remains the same way for next year. All you have to do is accept and file this. You don't actually have to do anything beyond that at this point.
So we don't need a motion.
No,
Okay, any questions of staff? Anyone on Zoom?
no one on Zoom.
Okay, bringing it back. Unless there's further or any deliberation, we can close this item. Okay, let's move on, close that public hearing. Okay, moving on to item 7, which is another public hearing that I will open right now. And that is adoption of the final operating draft budget for fiscal year 2026, 2027.
So in front of you, you have the final proposed draft budget. I will yield to Budget Committee Chair Rodoni if he has any comments before I finalize my stuff. Seeing he has no comments, the budget is basically the same as you saw in the draft. We made some minor modifications. We lowered staff salaries now that we have done negotiations with me, which is farther down on the agenda, and staff reviews have been done. We were able to put a better number in for that line item, and that reduced things a little bit. And so what you have in front of you is a proposed budget. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any commissioners or alternate commissioners have any questions? Okay, Commissioner Rodoni?
Just as direction from the Budget Committee, the changes were insignificant, so he directed the Executive Director to move forward with the budget as proposed.
Thank you. Anyone on Zoom?
There's no one on Zoom.
Okay, bringing it back, closing the public hearing. Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move to adopt the operating budget for fiscal 26-27.
Second.
Okay, so that was Commissioner Chu, seconded by Commissioner Berto. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes unanimously. Okay, we are moving on to business items. Oh, this is the big one. So we're looking at item 8, which is election of chair and vice chair. Who does the staff report?
I'll do a quick staff report. Every year, based on Marin LAFCo policy, we are to elect a chair and vice chair in May or the first meeting thereafter. This is the first meeting thereafter. So today you have on your agenda to elect a chair and vice chair. Staff does not get into this as a discussion. It is a policy decision for you all to make. So I will yield back to you to make nominations for chair and vice chair.
Okay, so, oh, I see somebody, Commissioner Lucan.
If there's no public comment, I'd be happy to move Dennis Rodoni as chair and Larry Chu as vice chair.
Okay, and,
I'd be happy to second that.
okay, very good. But why don't we see if there's any public comment?
No one online.
Okay, so moving it back, and all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. we
One
got-
comment.
Yes.
I would like to commend our outgoing chair for your great work over these past, I don't know how, is it three full years?
Almost 3.
Almost 3. Not that anybody's counting, but thank you so much. I think you've been chair the whole time I've been on LAFCo. Or almost.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. It has actually been quite an honor and very lucky to work with this wonderful commission and our staff who do excellent work. So appreciate that. And Dennis and I, or the new chair, Chair Rodoni, he and I have talked and thought it might be a better idea for me to finish this meeting up. So, and we're on a roll, actually. I hate to tell you all, let's stay on this roll. And let's go on to item 9, which is review and discussion of the draft Marin County Fire Services Special Study. And that would be Ms. Devereaux.
Good evening, everyone. So today we're providing a brief update on the Marin Fire Services study. Since the commission's discussion on the last draft, staff has incorporated the feedback provided and made several additions and revisions. The primary areas of commission direction in this draft focus on the addition of an executive summary, refining financial risk language, adding information regarding the MWPA, Marin Wildfire Prevention Authority, expanding the discussions of EMS paramedic services, and developing a stronger conclusion that helps frame future discussions by highlighting key considerations, opportunities, and questions for future discussion without advocating for specific governance outcome. Throughout these revisions, staff worked to maintain a neutral and informational tone, particularly when discussing governance alternatives and potential organizational changes. The updated draft has been re-released for public comment and will remain open until June 15th. The comments we have received have largely consisted of clerical changes, staffing updates, and other admin revisions, rather than substantive concerns regarding the study's findings. Based on the feedback received from the commission today, staff's goal is to return with the final version of this study at the August meeting for formal consideration and adoption. At this time, staff is seeking any additional direction from the commission.
Thank you, Claire. And I want to mention that I have provided, Claire and I have gone a little back and forth on a few of the comments. I don't want to take everyone's time and repeat those, mainly some editorial. Also, Chief Dan Mahoney of Ross Valley Fire provided some clarifications to things that had changed at Ross Valley Fire. So Claire has those and we'll take those on, but just want to throw that out there. Does anyone have any questions or comments for Claire on changes, potential changes? Commissioner Murray?
Just some focus items. So there's three major occurrences for fire, which is fire, floods, and earthquakes, and then if that could be scoped in, and then also vulnerabilities such as wildfire suppression, like any needs assessment, if that's possible within the document. And then, I've been within other counties with huge communication gaps between federal, state, and local. So that may be within this vulnerability area. And just those are kind of initial comments, and I appreciate the Ross Valley focus. It seems like that's kind of a core part to the document. Thank you.
Others, I think another thing that I pointed out is the Novato Fire Protection District was very slim, but after the adoption of the Novato MSR, Claire will bring in more on that. And more on Marin wildfire, as she mentioned. So other questions of staff or comments? I would say, is there anyone on Zoom?
There's no one online.
Okay, so bringing it back, we don't have to make a motion. And if anyone has any further comments, you have until Monday to give those to Claire. Thank you very much. Great work. Looking forward to finalizing this one. And I think, as I mentioned at the last meeting, or maybe I didn't, John Bagala, the president of Marin Professional Firefighters Association, had read a previous draft and he told me it was excellent. So that is high praise. He doesn't always do that, so I would take that. And with that, let's move on to our next favorite item, which is update and discussion on Cal LAFCo related matters, including Marin LAFCo membership with Cal LAFCo for fiscal year 26, 27. One thing I want to mention, I spoke to Jason beforehand. I'm sure most of you or all of you have read the staff report, and we had some discussion last time. So I would ask him to do this fairly briefly and maybe not rehash everything that's in the memo, and you all can ask questions.
Yep. So starting 50 years ago, Cal LAFCo was created. I'm just joking. To speed things up to today, we've already had long discussions about this at previous meetings, and you have in your staff report. I have nothing new to report beyond what's in the staff report. Nothing new has occurred since I've written that. So I will yield back to the commission. This is a commission decision to make on whether or not you believe that Cal LAFCO has done enough for us to remain as members, or if you no longer view that there's value there, we should write a letter letting them know, thank you for the years, and we're going to be leaving for at least a year, and maybe come back later.
I think there were a few new items. For example, LA's coming back.
Yeah, that's in the staff report. So
No,
nothing new since the staff report.
Yeah, and the other thing is, even though it isn't the forward movement at the pace that we would like, there is some forward movement on the things we asked about. So I'm just going to throw this out there. I think it's worthwhile to stay in another year and see how things progress. But I will open up to the commission. Anyone, Commissioner Murray?
So I read Mark Bramfit's staff report, August 6, 2025, and Sonoma County's reasoning and perhaps why they backed out of Cal LAFCo. We have a core group, LA, San Diego, San Bernardino, and Orange. LA's back, which is huge. Fresno is out. And Sonoma, I think, probably also on the fence, kind of like what we were thinking. So it's nice to see that the big four in Southern California, LA, is back in, and they also offered, would we like to come? Apparently, the memo reads that way. to participate. So the three areas are leadership dues and legislative progress. It seems like dues, they're looking to have a subcommittee, which is great. Leadership has changed and is changing, which is moving in the right direction. And then legislative progress, I think that's the core of really being in a much larger group rather than going at our own. So my feeling is all three of those core areas, the stay in Cal LAFCo, are being met with dues to be upcoming. So I feel similar to our outgoing chair that stay in for at least one more year.
Yeah, thank you. Others want to weigh in on this? Oh, vice chair too. I love that.
Not yet, next meeting, right?
No, you're already at.
Oh, okay,
Past year.
past chair. Okay,
I'm the old guard.
you're the old guard. Yeah, I'm willing to support the whatever the commission decides. I think kind of as a cautionary note, um, we kind of sent them a letter before saying that we'd like to have a certain amount of movement on the issues we thought were important to us. And right now there's really no commitment. You can see that they kind of discussed it, but there isn't anything definitive about even when they're starting. It could be the beginning of the quarter. It could be after the new board gets seated. So I think maybe one of the things that we can think about is to send them kind of a thing that says, okay, we're going to stay, but we still have these concerns. And we'd like to see a little bit of, commitment
I
on
think that's
resolving it.
an excellent idea. What are you thinking, Chair Rodani?
I think being part of these groups is beneficial. I'm sorry they've been struggling. But I take it pretty serious when you get out of a group like this. And maybe we could say we'll be back and we'll pay the dues, but could we stipulate that on half the dues now and half in 6 months, and depending on their progress?
Unfortunately, I mean, I can always ask Cal LAFCo. I will ask that question if that's what the commission wants. You might recall a couple of meetings ago, I actually brought up this concept of paying half now, half later. The board of directors would have had to approve that when they approved their dues for next year, and that's already been done. So it's too late technically under their laws to try and get this thing in there. That doesn't mean that we can't ask and say, hey, we want to see more, but that could be part of the letter and say, are you open to this? Are you willing to accept this as a thing, as us trying to say, we want to be here, but we also need to see movement on the items that have not been moved yet. I'm happy to try and craft something that does that for you if that's what the commission wants.
I think I think those are both really good ideas that we can throw out there and try. Others want to weigh in I think we're looking at, let's make clear what our thoughts are again, because Michelle was here at the last meeting and, I was asking about a special meeting. I don't know what the big deal is not to do a special meeting. And there wasn't much movement, but I feel like there's slight progress. And like Chair Rodoni says, getting out, there are certain benefits to staying in, as Commissioner Murray talked about. So I think with that letter, and maybe you can work with the chair and vice chair on that letter and have it sent out under the chair's signature.
Yeah, happy to do so.
That would be great. Others? Okay, so I want to see, is there anyone on Zoom?
There is no one on Zoom.
Okay,
other than
great.
Mala.
Okay, well, thank you, Mahler. We love that you're here. Okay, now we're moving on to item 11, which is consideration and approval of Third Amendment to Employment Agreement with Executive Officer. Is this Mala?
Yes, this is me. Thank you, former Chair Kohler. What is before you is the Third Amendment. The Third Amendment provides for an extension of the term by 3 years. So the term will then expire June 30th of 2029. It also provides for a bonus for fiscal year 25-26 of $2,060. At this point, we're recommending you authorize the new chair to execute the Third Amendment. Happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I had communicated with Mala that right now it has my name on there and that obviously changed. So any questions of Mala on this item? Seeing none, I'm guessing there's no one on Zoom. Okay,
No one on Zoom.
okay, great. Thank you. So, would somebody like to make a motion to authorize the chair to execute the third amendment to the employment agreement?
I so move.
I'll second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, seeing none. We are really moving now. I know I can do everything. Okay, so let's move on to, this is the lightning round, I believe, which is the executive officer report. And one thing I want to note that Jason and I communicated about when we get to the work plan, somehow the special police study somehow got dropped off, but it will be back on.
Correct. So doing my lightning round, we are currently under budget, although not as under budget as we've been in the past. There's been a lot of cost increases that have occurred over this last year. I think our new budget will help resolve some of those issues, but we should remain under budget, although there are a couple of line items that we will be over budget on. They are in the report. One of them is the conference. We're just a few dollars over. We kind of knew that going into near the end of the year that might occur. There's another line item there that's slightly going to be over budget. But overall we'll be under budget. Continuing on, with current and pending proposals, we have one proposal from Novato Fire District. They're looking to take one of their firehouses, take it off of septic and put it onto the sewer system. We're waiting for map and legal description. Once we have that, it will be put in front of you. Hopefully we were hoping it was going to be this meeting, but instead it'll come hopefully at your August meeting once we get that map and legal settled. The work plan, as Chair Kohler said, the police study, we were rearranging some stuff and somehow that item got deleted off there. I've already added it to the August work plan, so I know it'll be on there. So that will not be forgotten. There are a few other updates in there. We are still working with staff. I got back today from Mala and her edits to an agreement with the 3 CMSA JPA members to do a study of how to consolidate those agencies. Those 3 agencies have asked us to help take a lead on this. So we still got a little bit. I got to send that back to those 3 agencies, make sure they're comfortable with the changes. And if so, we'll be back in August with a suite of items to update and approve for the commission so we can start this important study to try and see how we can consolidate the 3 CMSA members if it's possible. And then finally, you have a correspondence that's in the packet, so you can read that. And then there's one item that is not on the agenda I just wanted to bring up real quickly, which is earlier today, the civil grand jury for Marin County issued a special study on special districts and has a whole bunch of recommendations of things that they think all the special districts in Marin County should do. If anyone wants a copy of it, I can forward you a link to the civil grand jury. It's an interesting read. We are not named in it. We do not need to respond to it. So I'm not planning to bring anything back in August for you to review unless someone reads it and says, hey, we really should respond to something that's in there, at which point I will, we'll bring it back as a subject matter for next month. But I'm not planning on it being on our August agenda because we're not named directly in it. We're referred to it, but not named as a respondent in it. So that is all that I have for that. I will mention, just so you're aware, as we're closing out this meeting, that over the rest of June and into July, both Jaren and I are going to be taking a lot of vacation time. So when you're calling, you might get the other one answering your questions because one of us will probably be on vacation for a good several weeks of back and forth between us being on different vacations. So I just wanted to give you that as a heads up that the 2 of us are oppositing our vacation time so we don't conflict, and there's always at least 2 staff around for Marin LAFCo to operate with.
Great. I just want to mention one of the things that was kind of a good, it was like a line item that Ross Valley Sanitary District wanted to move forward without corrections. So somehow that has, without the correctional facility, which is good news after we had that
Yes.
little mix up a few months ago. So that's good news that they've dropped that. Okay, questions of staff from the executive officer report, Commissioner Murray?
And just real quick, Jason, I read the grand jury draft report, and it looks like they're asking the county to have a series of follow-up items, but there seemed to be some factual issues. Like they said in Marin County, there's 50 special districts and
Correct.
it's not completely flushed out or citations of where they're getting this information.
There are 30 independent districts and technically just over 20 dependent districts. When you count like all the CSAs and stuff, you do get over 50 special districts in Marin County.
Okay.
I agree with you. Like they didn't list who they are, but they are factually correct in that nature.
Okay, very good. Thanks.
So any other questions or comments of staff? So we'll move on to commissioner announcements and requests. I see none. Well, guess what we're doing? We are adjourning at 7 o'clock.
Congratulations.
Anyway,
Good way to go out on a high note.
come on, you're breaking the chain.
Just on item C on the work plan. When was the last time we looked at mosquito abatement districts, some of the smaller districts?
Mosquito abatement district is one that does not fall under Marin LAFCo's jurisdiction. It is Sonoma LAFCO because it is a joint, and that county gets it for, I can get, without getting into all the details, it's by state government code, it's Sonoma that actually does that abatement district oversight.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank everyone and wishing the new chair and vice chair a good couple of months till August. Thank you very much, everyone. And we had a good meeting. Take care. A
Thank
lot
you.
got done.